Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. Today is Monday, February 26, 2024. This is our 3 p.m. land use hearing. My name is John Kafalis, Commissioner from District 1, joined by my colleagues, Kristen Stevens from District 2 and Jody Shattuck McNally from District 3. We also have an array of folks across the way. I'll call this meeting to order at 3:01 p.m. And let's begin with the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, thank you all very much. And we are joined by Tessa from the Clerk and Recorder's Office, who records the meeting. It's a public meeting, of course, and takes notes. Frank from our County Attorney's Office, and various other folks from Community Development. So the first thing I'd like to mention is we're going to change the order a little bit. I consulted with my colleagues, and we will move into the public hearing consent agenda items. There are 2 items listed, and I'll explain a little bit about consent agenda items, and then we'll go into the first reading of the second revised ordinance regarding Chapter 6 in our land use code of in our ordinance regarding animal control and things of that nature. I'm a little bit out of turn here, but I think I'll turn it over to our Community Development Director. Rebecca, did you want to say a word or two about civility and protocol and all that? Then I'll talk about consent agenda items. Then I will list the 2 consent agenda items, so we'll go from there.
Yes, thank you. Good afternoon, Commissioners. I'm Rebecca Everett, Community Development Director. We request that anyone here in the room, please silence your electronic devices, and please help yourself to a copy of the agenda, which is to the right of the hearing room entrance, if you would like it. Please wait to speak until you are recognized by the chair, and we ask that you maintain civility, refraining from any audience applause, comments, or disruptions. And please make any comments directly to the county commissioners from the podium up here. We do have a portable microphone and assisted listening devices available if needed. If you are speaking to the commissioners, please state your name at the beginning of your comments and provide the spelling of your name if it's unique. For anyone on Zoom, which I don't think we have anyone on Zoom, so we can skip those instructions there. Up here at the table, we have our clerk to the board, Tessa. We have Frank Haug with the County Attorney's Office, Amy White, our co-compliance supervisor, Jenny Axmaker, our planning manager, and some additional staff with planning, engineering, and health in the Attorney's Office in the room. Thank you.
Rebecca, thank you very much for introducing your colleagues. And let me say a word or two about consent agenda items. Typically, they're of a more administrative, routine nature where we don't see any controversy, any discussion amongst neighbors and community members. So consent agenda items are typically, there's a motion to approve them en masse without a formal discussion hearing. And so that's basically how it works. Commissioners have the option of pulling a consent agenda item off of the consent agenda item, so it can be up for a full hearing, discussion, presentation, and so forth. So we have that option. So with that, and then I'll go through the list. Commissioner Stevens, are either of these you wish to pull off the consent agenda?
No, Mr.
Commissioner
Chair.
Shattuck McNally?
No, Mr. Chair.
Okay. So let me just list those quickly. The first one is the Johnson Acres Planned Division, Planned Development and Appeals File number 21-Land 4118. And the second one is an amended plat of parcels A through E of the Stoltz exemption plat, S-120-75, Tract A of the Ken Williams Jr. Minor Residential Development, S-7-87, Lot 3 of the Hodges Minor Residential Development, S-118-90, and parcel B1 of the Meredith S. Hodges Trust Boundary Line Adjustment. There's a bit of a mouthful in all of this. Number 96-OS0861 and parcels A through 2 and C1 of the Meredith S. Hodges Trust Boundary Line Adjustment 99-S1493 and Access Utility Easement Vacations, file number 22-Land 4217. So those are the description of the two consent agenda items before. As I did earlier, I asked my colleagues if they wanted to pull either of those off of the consent agenda item. We will not be doing that. Therefore, at this time, I would welcome a motion to approve these consent agenda items. Commissioner Stevens, will you offer that, please?
Yes,
Sorry, did we ask, maybe I missed it, did you ask the public if
I
they?
can't hear you.
ask the public if they wanted to remove it.
Thank you, Frank. And I apologize. Let me take a deep breath for a moment. So we have that option of pulling something, but also if there's someone from the public who wishes to remove a consent agenda item, they also have that option as well. And I presume that is not the case. And is there anyone online who wishes to do so?
Mr. Chair, we have no attendees online.
All right. Then, thank you so much, Frank. I appreciate that. So we're now back to the motion. It's important that we give folks the opportunity. Commissioner Stevens, please offer the motion.
Yes. Mr. Chair, I move to approve the items on the consent agenda subject to the conditions in the staff reports and further move to authorize the chair to sign the findings and resolutions.
Thank you. That is indeed a proper motion. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 That passes 3-0. Those two items are approved based on the conditions of approval. If there are folks here for those items, I reckon you're done this afternoon. And thank you for being here. And thank you to our planners. All right. We have one more item for this afternoon's land use hearing. First reading of the Larimer County Code, second revised ordinance 111-2200. I'm assuming that 20011-2020, what is that?
That's just how it came across, Commissioner. That was from last year, and it's 111-220020-001.
Thank you. Regarding Chapter 6, having to do with animal control and our relationship with NOCO Humane. At this time, I'll turn it over to our Code Compliance Supervisor, Ms. Amy White.
Thank you, Commissioner. So as the administrator of the agreement with NOCO Humane, I was asked to assist in the update of the referenced animal ordinance. There's two major changes. One is the removal of any reference to the Humane Society of Larimer County or any iteration of that, and to replace that with NOCO Humane, which is their new title. And then the second one is a little bit more substantive. It's to update the ordinance to align with the Colorado revised statutes regarding administration of rabies vaccinations and to follow the Colorado Veterinary Practice Act. This will allow the ordinance to mirror state law and mitigate the need to change the ordinance in the event it conflicts with potential future statute revisions. It will also allow veterinarians and shelters within Larimer County to follow practices for rabies vaccination as outlined in the Colorado Veterinary Practice Act. And we also it provided an opportunity for us to revise some outdated language, so we took advantage of that to bring it into this century. The following is a summary of the revisions contained in the second revised ordinance 111-220020-001. So the first one is the title now includes second revised, section 6.1 definitions. Animal has the phrase as in effect now and hereafter amended, which has been added. Animal Control Officer, change the word his to their and removes the name of the Humane Society and adds NOCO Humane in 2 places. Animal Control Facilities removes the and adds Larimer and capitalizes the C in county. Bodily Injury corrects a grammatical error by removing a comma after the word to. Dangerous Animal, subsection 1, replaces person with human being. Dangerous Animal, subsection 2, replaces person with human being. Dangerous Animal, subsection 3, adds CRS after section 18-9-204. Disturbance replaces his to their and removes with him. Humane Society replaces the Larimer County Humane Society and replaces that with NOCO Humane. Shelter corrects a grammatical error by changing doghouse to a one-word doghouse. Stricter Animal Control Area capitalizes the first letter in Board of County Commissioners and adds of this ordinance after section 6-84. Section 6-26, licensing required, adds licensed in front of animal control facility. Section 6-27, license application, subsection A, removes the and adds Larimer and capitalizes the C in county. And it also adds licensed in front of animal control facility. Section 6-29, dog tags, subsection C, adds licensed in front of animal control facility. And subsection D removes every and replaces with any. Section 6-30, licensing records, removes the and adds Larimer and capitalizes the C in county. Section 6-31, license fees waiver, adds licensed in front of animal control facility. Section 6-32, pet animal facility exemption, corrects a grammatical error in licensing requirements and places C.R.S. in the proper position following the statutory sites. Section 6-51, vaccination required, subsection A, removes each and replaces with any, adds and or between dog and cat in 5 places, adds in accordance with Colorado Revised Statutes, Title 12, Article 315, Colorado Veterinary Practice Act, and removes the following language: by a veterinarian licensed to practice veterinary medicine. The veterinarian administering the vaccine shall give to the dog or cat's owner a rabies vaccination certificate, and replaces that with a rabies vaccination certificate shall be given to the owner of a dog and or cat vaccinated in accordance with the Colorado Veterinary Practice Act. Subsection B removes each and replaces with any, removes the and adds Larimer and capitalizes the C in county. And then in subsection C, adds and or between dog and cat in 2 places. Section 6-52, reporting animal bites, confinement, subsection A, adds the word being after human. Subsection B adds and or between dog and cat in 3 places. Adds the word licensed before animal control facility in 2 places. Corrects a grammatical error by removing the comma after located. And adds the word licensed in front of animal control facility in 4 places. Subsection C replaces his, her with their, and in subsection E, adds the words of this ordinance after section 6-52F and adds licensed in front of animal control facility. Section 6-77, disturbance of the peace and quiet prohibited. We removed the words and quiet from the title. Section 6-78, public nuisance prohibited, replaces his with their. Section 6-79, dangerous pet animals prohibited, subsection A replaces whether or not with regardless if. And then in subsection B1, corrects a grammatical error by hyphenating self-defense. Section 6-81, quantity of pet animals restricted, replaces his or her with their. Section 6-83, limitation on possession and feeding of wild or exotic animals. Subsection C corrects a grammatical error by adding a comma after menagerie. And subsection D adds the words of this ordinance after section 6-83C and removes the word above. Section 6-84, neighborhood requests for stricter control, adds an S to the request in the title and added quotation marks around stricter animal control area. Section 6-101, authorization for capture and impoundment, adds licensed in front of animal control facility. Subsection 4 adds of this ordinance after Section 6-83. Section 6-102, Notice of Impoundment, adds licensed in front of animal control facility in 2 places. Section 6-103, minimum time for impoundment of unclaimed animals, adds licensed in front of animal control facility and places the Colorado CRS in the proper position following the statutory sites. Section 6-104, reclamation of certain animals restricted or prohibited, subsection A, adds of this ordinance in 3 places, adds licensed in front of animal control facility in 2 places. Subsection B adds of this ordinance after section 6-80, replaces his with their, capitalizes county manager, and adds their before the designee in 2 places. It also replaces the Humane Society with NOCO Humane. Section 6-105, reclaiming impound fees. Subsection A removes the and adds Larimer and capitalizes the C in county, adds licensed in front of animal control facility, and adds of this ordinance after section 6-106 and 6-102. And then in subsection B, it replaces he or she with they and changes has to have. Subsection B2 replaces A with an owner. Also in subsection B2 adds licensed in front of animal control facility in 2 places. And in subsection B3 adds licensed in front of animal control facility and removed in the animal control facilities and replaced it with its sole. Section 6-106, adoption or disposal of unclaimed animals, places CRS in the proper position following the statutory sites, removes the and adds Larimer and capitalizes the C in county, and it adds licensed in front of animal control facility. Section 6-107, sterilization of adopted animals required, adds and/or between dog and cat. Section 6-126, enforcement personnel, subsection B, it capitalizes district attorney and replaces chapter with section. Section 6-151, penalties, subsection B, replaces chapter with section. Subsection C replaces chapter with section. Subsection C1 removes provision and replaces that with of the following provisions outlined in this ordinance. Subsection C2 adds of this ordinance after section 6-78. Subsection C3 adds the word following sections of this ordinance. Subsection C4 adds of this ordinance after section 6-107. And subsection C-6 adds of this ordinance after section 6-151C. Section 151, penalties continued. Subsection D adds of this ordinance after section 6-84, and subsection E adds of this ordinance after section 6-151. Section 6-152, liability for accident or subsequent disease, removes the Humane Society of Larimer County and replaces with NOCO Humane in 2 different places. And that's the end of the memorandum. If there's any questions?
Thank you very much, Amy. Colleagues, do you have any questions for our code compliance supervisor, Commissioner Joe? It looks like we do not. Can you clarify the next steps in this process, please?
Yes, and first I forgot to mention that Judy Calhoun is down testifying on a bill down before the legislature, so she apologizes for not being here, and Rigo got called to an emergency, so he couldn't be here as well. And those are our 2 representatives that we work with at NOCO. So what will happen next, we'll take this and we'll send it out for publication in a newspaper of general circulation, I think is what it says, and that will be published for 10 days, the entire redlined copy of the ordinance. It will then come back. I'll be back in front of you on March 25th, and if nothing changes, all I do is read the title of the ordinance, so we won't have to go through reading the whole thing. Then we send that out for publication for 30 days, and once that's done, I'll bring it back before you on a consent agenda at admin matters, and we'll sign it, and then it will become effective. So it'll be another couple months before it actually becomes effective.
Great, thank you for explaining that. Is there anything else we need to do regarding this matter today, Amy?
There is not. And when I come back on March 25th, I'll have a suggested motion for you.
And I believe then we have completed the 3 agenda items, so therefore, at 3:21 PM, we are adjourned.